How are we doing today, guys? This is a question from the African saying, hello, it's been a minute since you've seen this beautiful, whatever this is. Guys, don't forget to give us a like, share, subscribe. We have two things on this video I want to talk about. A lot of Canada soccer news coming out. We have the women who have a friendly coming up in June, and then the provisional squad for the Baby Rouge, so that's the U20 men's team, has been dropped. That dropped yesterday. So guys, if you're interested in this, don't forget to leave us a like, subscribe. We do this type of content. We cover African content and Canadian content because we won't be the Africans if we didn't do both. So make sure you give us a like, subscribe, and let us know. So let's get into the talk and let's get to it as we have. We don't need to see my face here. We have announced on June 26th, Canada will be taking on the Korean Republic, and they have this friendly coming up June 26th. Don't forget, the Concacaf W begins in the month of July. So one friendly going through, and they're playing the Korean Republic at BMO Field. So playing in Toronto, I don't think they've been in Toronto for 3 years. So that's pretty exciting for me. That's closer to home for me. So maybe I can sneak in this game, get it. This is an interesting thought, and someone brought this up on Twitter, and I do agree. The idea of having one friendly, you would think you have enough time to do two. Now, perhaps, and this was floated out, and I do like this concept and idea where you play one friendly, but then maybe you go to Mexico early, and then you play a close-door match with them to prep and get ready. I don't mind that idea. We've seen Mexico play Canada on the women's side at the youth levels. We've seen them with their two friendlies at the end of last year. So I could see that being working. If that's the plan, I don't mind that plan. But only one friendly for them prepping for Concacaf W is a bit of a concern, but I think they should be able to come through with that. But guys, let me know, are you excited? Are you planning on going to the game if you guys are there? If you're in Canada watching this, are you going to be watching this from overseas? Who are you excited for? And the same question I always ask with the women's is, which player do you think needs to step up for the chance for them to win the championship in Mexico? Not qualify for the Olympics. Well, actually qualify for the Olympics would be winning the championship. So what player do you think needs to step up for them to win this? So not just qualifying for the World Cup, but for going into the Olympics as well. So yeah, this is exciting. I'm wondering what the squad is. I think Bev maybe brings a 25 to 27 player roster, and then maybe whittles it down to whatever the number is for Concacaf W. But I do hope that they do go a week early to Mexico, maybe play a few closed doors matches with them in training. I think that would be a great aspect for them. But you guys let me know. I'm excited to see them in. They haven't been in Toronto in a while. Like I said, 3 years. They played in Ottawa, they played in Vancouver, they played in Quebec, they played in Victoria. They just haven't played in Toronto. So this will be a fun matchup to watch. And we're pretty excited to see them here. Canada's team, it's no longer a celebration tour. We are now on the road to Australia and New Zealand. The second story that came up, which was interesting, is actually the fact that Canada Soccer dropped a 60-person provisional squad. And we're going to go through the names here and say things that actually kind of stood out here. So 60 squad for their U20 tournament, which is happening in June. Reminder, again, we've done a video about this. Starting in June, there's a tournament where Canada's going to be playing in it, except for September, every month. Not to mention in June, we also have Nations League. Here, guys, we have the names of the squads, which are the name of the squad that has been named, the provisional squad that's there. Now, there are some names which are there. We've seen most of the names who were in that squad that played the two friendlies against Costa Rica. But then we also have some names that weren't on the. I think some of us are happy to see in this role. So we have, for example, Jordan Alvarez from Boavista. Good name. Really excited to see what they're able to do. And if they whittle it down to that. Again, it's 20 players on the roster. Overall, 2 subs, 2 alternates, but then 18 men for a game day always. So 2 keepers, and then 15, 16 for the rest of those rosters. So it's going to be a tight roster to whittle down from. Other names that are interesting to see. I'm glad to see Georgie Atanasov. I don't know why I can't say names today, guys, but we're going to try this. Georgie from Atanasov. Georgie Atanasov. He is a name that wasn't included on the list, as well as Antoine Couplon, who had just moved from Atletico Ottawa. Those 2 names were names that I expected to see, but now I'm kind of happy to see that they're still there. Another interesting name, Nicolas Borjan, who is actually the younger brother of our boy Milan Borjan, I've said before in videos that he's the son. It is the younger brother, so I do apologize if I've mischaracterized. Or maybe no, he looks good enough to be the son. Who knows? We're not actually going to go there, but do apologize for that. Lucas Diaz on this list from the Sporting CP player who has played with Canada for U23 for Olympic qualifiers. I'm surprised to see his name on this list, primarily because I expected him maybe for them to try to fit him in for the senior team. I had that feeling when I didn't see him on the list overall, but to see him here at least says he's still within the program. He's still one that we're looking at for sure. Hugo Mbonge is a name that I've been watching ever since I started following TFC's preseason, and I was seeing him scoring goals in preseason games, and that was interesting to me. And being on this list is good to see. Shaquille Marshall-Ruddy, again, another TFC product. Good for them to come through. Jesse Costa there as well. Tyler Crawford, not on the initial list, but was able to play, was called up late, and played in both games. So good to see that name there. And it was actually revealed that he was coming in a little bit earlier. There was an interview I talked about it a little bit earlier. So that's an interesting name to keep an eye on. And then the last name that is somewhat interesting is actually the name Rida Zouhir. Rida Zouhir was called into camp for Morocco already, but then he's on this provisional squad, meaning Canada hasn't given up on him as of yet. The same with Anthony Vincent. And if you remember, there was the note in the squad that there were 7 players who weren't available because injuries or the club said they weren't releasing them. I think it's interesting to note those things. And then not to mention Lucas Kolesho, who we have covered in the past. This is a good squad to pull through, and at least this gives us as fans an idea of who the players are that they're watching, not only in the national programs or in their setups at clubs in the CPL or MLS, but also in European clubs as well. I think Alex Gange-Rijic said there was something like the breakdown was about 7 to 8 per MLS clubs, 22 European players, 3 players who are playing in academies in the US, and then some CPL representation as well. So it's a very balanced look around other than US clubs there, and I think that's exciting to see. But guys, who are you excited to see on this list? The one name that isn't on this list, which again, I'm not surprised about, but Daniel Jefferson is not going to be on this list. Again, if you listen to the Northern Football Podcast, Peter Galindo does imply that maybe this is the time where you want to take a run at Daniel Jefferson to get him into the national setup and get him playing for national team minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if he's one of the names to come through. And yes, there are some players that everyone's excited or asking why can't they play you? They're too old. The O2s and the O1s. I think this is going to be an interesting look at the O2s and the O1s for these Nation League games, as well as the friendly. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a player like, so the O2s are players like Theo Corbinu, Stefan Mitrovic, who's coming through, and he's gaining a lot more steam. A lot of people are giving more attention to him once what seems like the Marcelo Flores battle is over. I've always said you need to get at least 2 of them, right? Whether it was Flores, Diaz, Mitrovic, any of the Patton brothers, all the Pattons, Kone, you need to get like a solid group. If you can get a solid group of 3 out of those, out of that 5, and you already have Kone. So if you get like a Mitrovic and a Diaz, and then you still have the Patton brothers as well, I think that does well for what you can do down the middle from that creative aspect. But guys, what do you think is exciting about this list? Which names are exciting? Which names are exciting? Which names do you wish would be on this squad? The other thing also to shout out players. I know there's been a lot of talk with Marcelo Flores not being into the squad and choosing to play for Mexico. There's other dual nationals that are there, and I think that's why I mentioned those there. The other thing I just want to bring a shout out to Kelsey Arujo, who is dual Portuguese and Canadian, playing out in Portugal. And she might be one of the biggest duels that we might be fighting over right now. So make sure you give her a shout, give her some looks, and just can show her some love. I mean, forever. It's not an easy choice making the decision, choosing one nation or the other. A lot of these kids are young, so give them some love, support them whatever they do, and just continue to go through with that. I think that's something very important to see. But no, that's just one thing I want to bring up there. I know we still have mentions, but on this list, I think the name that I'm excited to see, I think it's every year you see something, it's like, don't sleep on this. For me, I'm definitely going to say a name I don't want to sleep on are a couple names. Hugo Mbonge. He is a player I just don't want to sleep on him. And just for selfish reasons, I'd like Theo Coimbra to be able to come and play for the Palmeiras, man. Apparently his name there is Canada, and I just want him to have a kit that says Canada while repping Canada, just for selfish reasons. For selfish reasons only. But yeah, Hugo Mbonge, he may not make this U20 squad, but I think if they start working on U17s, definitely something to keep an eye out and keep looking for. I think there's a lot of talent. It's exciting to see as Canadians. But guys, let me know how you feel. What are you excited to see? Are there players who you think is going to be the standout? I think if Lucas Dias does decide to play, I think give this team to him. Let him run it. He's had a lot of experience. Get those things. I'd also love to see Antoine Couplan and Jordi Anatasov to come in. I'm sorry, I've said your name differently 5 times, Georgie. I'm so sorry. But guys, let me know in the comments below. Let me know who you're excited to see on this roster. Who do you think makes the final roster? Is there a player you think we are missing? Let us know in the comments below, guys. Again, we'll be posting a few more videos this week. There's been a lot of Canadian soccer news and a lot of discussions we need to have. But just leave us a comment. Subscribe if you like this type of comment and content. And don't forget to show some love. Guys, it's been the question from the African saying goodbye for now.